Hi everyone. So now that the dust has settled over the weekend regarding the Mueller indictments of these 13 Russians, link to the video I'll leave up there in case you've missed that. The cliff notes of it are: it helped Trump, it hindered the DNC, and it's more important to look at the document and what it doesn't say rather than what it does. Um, but now that the dust has settled from that, it's actually really interesting to see what the press and the DNC resort back to as their plan of attack. Now, one of the ways that they can attack Trump is obviously over gun control. The reason that they can do that is because they get very little money from the NRA, whereas the Republicans do. Now, I support that personally. It doesn't matter which side was arguing for better gun control. I'm not an advocate for taking guns away from civilians in America. I don't believe that that's correct. We have tight gun laws over here, which I support and which work. However, in America, it's different. And I know that it's not as simple as just taking all your guns away. It's just not, I'm afraid. However, I do support obviously pushing for bills such as a law that makes it very difficult for a mentally ill person to buy a gun and then go off and shoot a classroom of kids. It makes no sense to me whatsoever that Trump reverses an order that makes it more difficult for somebody with a mental illness to buy a gun and then blames every mass shooting on fucking mental illness. It's insane, that way of thinking is. It really is. And the press should hammer him more on that, and so should the DNC. However, what they also do, that's just something that they can attack him on at the moment because it's topical because of this school shooting last week. What they also do, and they always revert back to this, they go, let's punch left. They can't attack the Republicans over Medicare for all. They can't attack them over the prison for profit system. They can't attack them over, legalization of marijuana. They can't attack them over paid maternity leave. I still can't believe you haven't got paid maternity leave in America. It's like everybody in the world has, literally, almost. But they can't attack them over any of those policies, the things that would actually help the American people and the things that the American people want and the things that the American people support and would make them go, yeah, I'm voting for the DNC. They're going to give me this. They can't attack them over that because of the money they get from their donors. They will lose that money. The donors will be pissed off. And the DNC is already in financial trouble, as we've seen from many reports. So they go back to punching left. And when I say punching left, I mean punching anybody who's progressive, who's actually pushing for the policies that would help the American people. People such as Bernie Sanders, people such as Jill Stein. And I found it really interesting over the weekend watching the Twitter feed, because I follow probably 40 or 50 political commentators and politicians in the DNC, and just seeing the narrative, and they are all in sync with each other. I'm not kidding. They are all on the same page. If they are saying anything, they're saying the same things. And they're saying things such as this. Now, I'm going to try and put this up here so you can see it as well. If I can't do it, I'm really sorry. It just means I'm not technically minded. But if I figure out how to do it, great. I'm wonderful. Anyway, so here's Scott Dworkin, who is an MSNBC contributor, and he says, quote, here's Jill Stein trashing the US while in Russia in December of 2015. She attended a Russian propaganda TV gala and sat at the table with Mike Flynn and Putin. Keep in mind there was absolutely no reason for her to be there except to become a Russian pawn. So this is smearing Jill Stein. This is smearing Jill Stein and saying, hey, maybe she's in league with the Russians as well as Donald Trump. Let's have a look at this. That's what he's saying. Next tweet. Joy Reid, my least favourite political commentator on cable media. She says, Clinton lost 3 crucial states by 77,500 votes, despite winning overall by 3 million. Hard to believe at least some of those people changed their mind due to the disinfo campaign plus Comey, and that's not even counting GOP-led voter suppression. So you can see where she's angling there. She's saying, hey, we didn't lose by much. Where did the votes go? Was it the Russians or was it Jill Stein? No, but nobody knows. She didn't mention Jill Stein there, but you can certainly see that she's alluding that way. Then we come to Anna Navarro. I can't believe I'm talking about this woman. Would anybody be shocked at this point if in the next episode of this made-for-TV political drama we find out Jill Stein was controlled by Russian puppet masters as part of their anti-Hillary election meddling scheme? This is a flat-out smear, fully expected by Anna Navarro. And then I'm coming on to a David Axelrod. Now, just bear with me for a second. I just want to explain something. I picked up these. I saw these the weekend. I saw them on my Twitter feed, and it just lodged in my memory. I am sure if you looked, you would find dozens of other political commentators and people from within the DNC who are pushing this exactly the same narrative. Now, David Axelrod is the senior political commentator for CNN. The senior political commentator. This is the man with his finger on the pulse. This is the guy that knows the most. He says, Jill Stein received 50,700 votes in Michigan. Trump won by less than 12,000. He outpolled Trump's margin in Wisconsin as well. I assume that's Wisconsin. If Russians sought to redirect alienated Hillary Clinton voters to third parties, as indictment alleges, it was a shrewd ploy. So this is a flat-out smear, and it is aimed directly at Jill Stein being a Russian puppet and the Russian interference, or meddling as they call it, in the election made people vote for Jill Stein. That's what he's alleging. Now, I'm a resident of Great Britain, and I am fucking madly pissed off at that, because what he's doing there is the opposite of journalism. It's just the opposite. He's cherry picking information to push his narrative. Now, what I'm going to do is actually give the real information as to why Donald Trump won in Michigan. Now, a lot of you will already know this. Maybe some of you don't, but please bear with me. The first thing is, Trump won Michigan in 2016 by getting 30,000 votes less than George Bush did in 2004 when George Bush lost to John Kerry. That makes, okay, that should make your ears prick up. It's like, wait, George Bush lost in 2004 with 30 votes, more votes than Trump won with in 2016. Okay, there's something obviously happened there. What it comes down to is, of course, Bernie Sanders winning the primary in Michigan. He did very well in the Rust Belt states, if we remember, and it was quite a surprise that he won Michigan to people in the press anyway. Those are a lot of people who wanted Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton. There's a lot of people there who are going to be pissed off and who are going to say, listen, I'm not voting for that bitch. I'm not voting for her. She hasn't won my vote. She's done nothing for me. I wanted Bernie Sanders. She cheated Bernie Sanders out the primary. Fuck that woman. That's what these people think. I know somebody in Grand Rapids, and this is exactly what he said to me. He said, fuck that woman. I'm not voting for her. I'm not voting for him either. I'm not going to vote at all. That's what he said to me. This is the general consensus I'm getting, looking at people online and what they say as well, especially about the Rust Belt states. None of this was in David Axelrod's tweet, of course, because it doesn't fit his narrative that Jill Stein was to blame. Now, the next thing we need to look at is the campaigns. Hillary Clinton just basically ignored the Rust Belt states. I can't, from memory, this is from memory, so don't quote me. She sent Barack Obama to Michigan instead, and then only campaigned in Michigan a couple of days before the election. I think it was a couple of days before. Don't quote me on that, but what I can say for certainty is she ignored the Rust Belt states. She definitely ignored Michigan. And by the time she went out there and campaigned, it was too late. That's my opinion, but that's a lot of people's opinion as well. But it's certainly a fact that she did not campaign in the Rust Belt states. So there's a factor. The second factor on that is Trump did. Trump went after Michigan and the Rust Belt states massively. If you actually listen to Steve Bannon, he said that was the strategy. The strategy was win the Rust Belt states, we win the election. That's what he said. He campaigned, Trump campaigned in the Rust Belt states and Michigan especially over and over and over again on the campaign trail, while Hillary Clinton was nowhere to be seen. Hillary Clinton didn't go out and get their votes. Trump did. I believe, now I think about it, Trump's last visit to anywhere on the campaign trail, certainly one of the last ones, was Michigan, and he was there till past 12 o'clock. So there's a factor. But the biggest factor, looking at all this, looking at everything this David Axelrod says, and looking at all the facts I've just given you, the biggest thing is this, and this is something he could have so easily included this in a tweet, but he didn't. Overall, in 33 states in America, 1.7 million ballots in the 2016 election were left blank for president, but the other things on the ticket were voted for. They just didn't vote for a president. They thought, this is Sophie's choice. Whatever I choose is going to be a fucking disaster. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to vote for them. I'm either not going to vote at all, turnout was low, or I'm going to vote for Jill Stein. Jill Stein did really well in Michigan. 87,810 ballots in Michigan were left blank for the presidential election. They voted for other things on the ticket, but the one at the top, president, or wherever it was on the ballot, I'm not sure whether it was on the top, but the president one, they left blank. Now, if you look at all that information, it's pretty clear what happened there. You know, it's pretty clear to anybody with a sound mind and can look at anything, in a sensible way. All of this makes me say something, and it makes me say something that actually makes me say I'm quite sad about this. When Trump says the media, the cable media, the MSNBC, CNN, obviously the print media too, he points fingers at, Washington Post especially, when he says they're fake news, I fucking agree with him. I hate that. It really pisses me off. The DNC are making me agree, and the cable media are making me agree with Donald Trump. That really annoys me. If they were to attack him on policy, things would be different. Now, I wrote an article for a website in October, November last year, and I looked at all the data with regards to what happens when Trump is attacked on policy and what happens when Trump is attacked on Russia. And what I found is this. Now, I mocked up this back in October, November last year. So there's a few months missing, but I'm sure if you actually extended that out over the next few months, you would see similarities. You can see on this, Flynn was fired, media goes wild, Trump's numbers go up. The intelligence committee fiasco, you may remember, I think it was Devin Nunes who went to the White House and with the wiretapping thing and all that. His numbers went up. Mueller appointed, everybody attacking him over Comey firing and appointing Mueller, blah, blah, numbers went up. Manafort indicted, who can forget that? His numbers went up. Giantly, massive jump, because he was indicted. Hey, we got him, we got Manafort. Oh, we got him on money laundering. Where from? Was it Russia? No, Ukraine. Oh, okay. Damn. Obviously pissed off. Trump's numbers go up every time you attack him on Russia. I'm positive, if you actually look at the last 3 months, you'll see something the same. And then we come to this, which is the opposite side of the coin. When you actually attack him over a policy, his numbers go down. All of these are from Gallup, by the way. All of these figures. So the travel ban, when he first came in, his numbers went down straight away because he introduced the travel ban, or tried to. Then you've got Trump Care, when he tried to repeal Obamacare and put Trump Care in, and the CBO said that it was going to cost X amount and this amount of people are going to be uninsured, blah, 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 and his numbers plummeted as a result. Then we've got the Paris climate deal. We all know that people were pissed off about that. His numbers plummet. And then we've got the tax reform. Now, the tax reform one here is just when it was outlined as to what the outline of the tax reform was going to be, and it was clear that it was going to be going, the money was going to be going to the top, not the people. His numbers went down again. So if you attack him on policy, his numbers go down. That's good. If you attack him on Russia, his numbers go up. That's bad. Now that's common sense. If I can figure this out from 6,000 miles away myself, just looking at a couple of screens, I'm damn sure the DNC and the MSNBC and CNN and all these liberal news agencies who keep pushing this Russia bullshit, they know that it actually helps him. They can't do it. They can't go back and attack him over policy there or any other policy because, hey, they'll lose money from their donors. They can't say, yes, we'll go for Medicare for all as one. They can't say this is the Democratic National Committee's policy. We are going to implement Medicare for all in 2020 if we get in. They can't say that. They'll lose an absolute fortune from health insurance industries and the pharmaceutical companies. They'll lose money from the pharmaceutical companies if they say we're going to make marijuana federally legal. They can't do that. The pharmaceutical companies will stop investing in the DNC. All they've got is punch left and attack Trump over Russia. That's it. Or attack Trump over whatever affair he had. For Christ's sake. Yeah, okay. He's an awful man. We know that. You know, this is not a reality TV show. This is the fate of the planet. I can't say it. I know that might be a little bit hyperbolic, but it really is. You know, there's a madman in office and you keep fucking voting to give him more weapons. What is the matter with you? Now, the last one is the one that really makes me sad. The last picture, and it's this one. This picture was taken the weekend, and it was tweeted out by George Galloway, a man I respect immensely. I don't agree with him on everything, obviously, but I respect him immensely. He's a UK politician. And a friend sent him this, and he tweeted it out over the weekend. This is a picture of Palestine, of Gaza, over the weekend. Now ask yourself, I didn't see much on MSNBC or CNN, but I certainly didn't see anything online about it. So I assume they didn't cover it either. Why is this not covered? This is Israel. Those are not fireworks. This is Israel raining fire on Palestine and Gaza. Raining fire. Look at that. Just look at it. It's terrible. And then ask yourself this. If the roles were reversed and that picture was Israel and the people doing the firing were Hamas and the Palestinians, would that have made the news? Would Jake Tapper be talking about that? You're damn fucking right he would. So, again, I repeat, when Trump says the media are fake news, as much as it might piss you off to agree with him, he's right. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and click the little bell so whenever I drop a video, it shows up in your newsfeed. Otherwise, it will just get lost in the in the mass of videos on YouTube. Click the links around. There's a link down there for everybody to read. It's the first 4 chapters of Russiagate, The Establishment Lie, which is the book I'm finishing now. That will be out on Monday, by the way. And Monday is, what date is Monday? Monday is the 1st of the 1st. So Monday the 1st of March. It's out on Amazon to buy. Patrons will get it for free in digital. Thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate all the support and all the comments. Please keep them coming in. It's really given me a lot of warmth, should we say, just hearing so many people supporting. So thanks very much. Until next time, guys, take care and peace.